Davis Reed Alumni Gyms, the site, and again, it's men's college basketball action tonight as the host Tigers entertain the Grenadiers of IU Southeast. Darren Douglas, LC Yoakum going to join me tonight. LC, glad to have you back with us.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, after the you had to work on Saturday, so I didn't get to see you. I feel this presence next to me about three-quarters of the way through the women's game. It was LC, and LC, a lot of great things happening on campus. The women get their first win of the year, 1-1 on the year against a very game St. Francis team who came in here with only 7 bodies available. They only have 10 on the roster. 3 of them are out hurt right now. They also had a late coaching change, I think like a couple of weeks before the season started, so a lot of mess for St. Francis. But they came in here and gave the Tigers all they can handle and then some. But Coach Jeff Nichols' club pulled it out. But now we get to look at the men. And speaking of something that really freaked people out is Coach Jeff Nichols joins us up here. And I'll tell you what, if you don't mind, LC, let me talk to him for a minute. Coach Jeff Nichols, and that's the first time I'm going to be able to talk to Coach this year, as the head coach of the Tigers. Coach, first off, welcome. I'm gladly finally get to be able to sit down next to you and talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be up here. Appreciate you guys doing this for us. It's awesome.
Well, Coach, I've gotten to admire your work from afar as an opponent, but now to see you up close and personal, I can see a lot of your imprint on this team already. Tonight you didn't shoot the ball very well in the first half, but let's give credit where credit's due. This St. Francis team came in here, and boy, they were feisty.
Well, I mean, they're returning basically every player, and they were a national tournament team last year. Coach has got a few injuries right now, but they return a really good ball club, and we knew it was going to be a fight. They've already played a pretty good schedule so far, going up to Milwaukee last week and, played a couple tough games up there locally. But they've done a heck of a job, and Coach does a really nice job with them. But, we knew Cassie Crawford, how good she was coming in, and she had 13 against us last night. We had a really hard time stopping her from getting to the basket. But, good players are going to make plays, and that's what she did.
Well, I don't have the final stats, but she and Emily Parrott, the point guard, really gave you guys fits in the first half. They each had 12 in the first half.
Yeah, we weren't really stopping them a whole lot in our ball screen coverage. And in our first quarter, I thought about the first 6-7 minutes, I just thought we were a little lackadaisical on our scout and what our scheme was. And, they took some shots that they hit that, quite frankly, we should have been out there. And we weren't guarding them. And that's why I told them early in the game, I'm like, look, this 21 points they got in the first half is 2 threes and, 2 or 3 putbacks. Like, we got to box out and we got to contain. If we take those away, that's 9 points right there. So that's what we got to learn how to do to pull away, be able to get those stops when we get some momentum on our side, be able to keep momentum on our side.
Well, you were trailing at one point in that first half by 9, and you were looking for somebody to give you a spark. And really, I got to point out, A.J. Stevenson came in and gave it. She didn't score points, but she gave you a spark with the effort.
Yeah, A.J.'s just such a good kid, and she's just a chameleon. Whatever we need out of her night to night, she just steps in and does. I mean, if the kid plays 30 minutes, if she starts, if she plays 10, whatever it is, she just tries to go in and do her best, and that's the thing I like about her. She's got a lot of experience from last year. She's only a sophomore. She's got a really, really bright future. And her coming in had like 5 points, but like you said, in one of the biggest stretches of the game, she had a huge imprint on it.
Yeah. And then, of course, you get Aaron Toller going a little bit there in the second half. She struggled with a shot, especially behind the arc in the first half, got 4 threes in the second half to get you going. But I really thought your senior, Madison Darnell, one of your 2 seniors, stepped up, and really that's the Madison Darnell that I'm used to seeing as a broadcaster, and finally saw that, I think, in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Madison played well for us. She's trying to transition, I think, her whole career. I think she's played about every position. And, just getting her to be aggressive and playing a little bit more on the floor. So we try to post her. We try to play her out in the perimeter a little bit, let her handle the ball, just take advantage of her strengths. If she was able to do that, she hit her first 3 tonight. I don't believe she hit one last year. But she actually has a good shot. She shoots it really well. I was really happy with our free throw shooting. Getting there 19 times, knocking down 16. Thought we were aggressive. Thought we could have got there a little more, but that's just the way the game's kind of played a little bit from time to time. So you got just officiating, and I thought the crew did a nice job. But we're a type of team, we're going to be aggressive and try to get to the basket and try to get to the line. We want to make more than you shoot.
Well, and the thing is, too, that your ball club, I thought, too, really scrapped on the glass because they had some size inside that kind of moved you around. But your ball club looked like they started team rebounding. I mean, you're going to have your players are going to get 10, 11 rebounds a night for the most part, but you got a team rebound, especially against teams that are very physical.
Well, and that's the key right there. You've got to be able to rebound as a team. We do a lot of stats, and we boxed out, I think, 7% of the time. We had 7% box outs up at Indiana Tech when we got beat. And I'll be honest with you, we probably peeled the paint off the gym for about 3 days in here. But rebounding was a big emphasis of it, and I'm happy with the kids. I mean, they shot a lot of long threes, and there's some long rebounds and certain things like that. I mean, they put a lot of those up. But I was happy with our kids. I mean, we showed a lot of fight. We didn't play our A game, but we need to be able to step up and rally off of this. We were really disappointed up at Indiana Tech. I thought we just had a really poor performance, off our scrimmages, being able to play teams like Marion and Indiana Wesleyan. I mean, we played right with them, 2 top 10, top 12 teams. And, that's our standard here. We want to win a national championship. We want to win the league. We don't want to be second to anybody. And, that was disappointing for us. So we've got to learn how to handle success a little bit.
Well, you get right
be able
back
to get
in
to the next thing,
Yeah, I apologize, Coach. I jumped in. I thought you were
you're
done.
good.
I apologize for that. But you jump right back in here. In 3 days, you're going to have Miami University Hamilton in here. So you get to get a couple of days in prep with them. But that's always good early in the year to get a momentum built playing games.
We had a little bit of a break there after the Tech game, and that leads us into tonight. And I still feel like we're a little game lag, like we're getting used to playing the games and stuff, and how to close games out, and all the strategy goes with it. But Miami Hamilton's going to come in here. I know they got a transfer out of Indiana Wesleyan who's a really good player. Coach Tanya does a good job up there. They're going to come in here on Friday, and then next week's big. We go up to Wilberforce on Thursday, and we got Thomas More coming in here Saturday. And, Thomas More got the best of us here last year, and we were on the line with no time left to win last year. And, and they got beaten. They won the national championship. And, Coach Hans, me and him are really good friends, and he does a heck of a job. And, we got a lot of basketball coming up here. So I'm excited about our kids and what we got going forward.
Well, I'm looking forward to covering the Lady Tigers this year. Jeff Nickel with us after the Tigers win this evening here tonight. We'll get set for men's action here in just a moment. Thank you, Coach. As we get you set for men's, Jeff Nickel, I turned around, there's Coach Nickel sitting there. So I was like, we got to get him on here. First time I've actually talked with a guy on air. We've usually talked off the air after his Shawnee State teams have come in here. And he's got the program headed in the right direction, I do believe.
There's no doubt about that.
All right, LC, we were getting ready to talk about this team tonight, this Georgetown team. I mean, you look at the men's team, you come out, you get a first opening game victory convincingly over Virginia University Lynchburg. You were telling me about the circumstance. The team showed up a couple hours late. If I know where Lynchburg, Virginia is, you can get lost coming this direction.
And I believe it was an issue with the bus. I believe the bus broke down, and that's what caused the late arrival of the opposing team. But Georgetown stayed ready. They had about 2.5 hours to warm up. Those guys were beyond warmed up for that game, and they ended up winning 103-58, an astounding victory for the Tigers, led by Cam Brooks, 17 points, and Tommy Thomas with 16 points off the bench. But talk about an all-around just team victory, and everybody did their role and did their job. Hopefully we see something similar here tonight.
Well, the interesting thing about this is the Tigers come in off an 88-68 loss to Western Kentucky University. It sounds like Western dominated the ballgame. Not true. The Tigers tied at halftime with the Hilltoppers, and as late as 7 minutes to go in the game, it was only a 5-point Hilltopper lead. So this team for Georgetown and Chris Briggs in his 12th season is a team to be reckoned with down the stretch.
Absolutely, and that has to be a moral victory for your team. I mean, that's a Division I program, Western Kentucky, who has solid recruits. They have solid players. You have to be happy with that game.
Oh, yeah, and I will say this, and I'll know what Chris Briggs will tell us. There are no moral victories here at Georgetown College. We expect to win no matter who the competition is. So you heard Coach Nickel talk about the women. They play the number 1 ranked Thomas More Ball Club here in in about a week's time here at home, and had a chance to beat them last year here. Then you get Georgetown coming out, and the men will play the number 2 ranked Thomas More team. So next Saturday, the 19th, great time to be here if you're a Georgetown College fan. And if you're not, and you got nothing to do, just come on over here. 1 o'clock and 3:30 will be the tip-off times for that Georgetown Thomas More. And, of course, we look over across the way. They just gave the Grenadiers of IU Southeast, and I wasn't paying attention to their starting lineup. I'll get those in just a minute, but give you Georgetown's here right now. It'll be Cam Brooks Harris starting at 1 forward. He's 6'7" out of Zanesville, Ohio. Jaquay Wells, a 5'11" junior out of Louisville, Kentucky, is the point guard. Seth Johnson will start tonight, the 6'3" sophomore out of Crestwood, Kentucky. Kyron Jones, the 6'5" junior out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, is the other forward. And the third forward is Drew Lamont, a 6'8" senior out of Plantation, Florida, courtesy of the University of Wyoming.
And let's talk about Drew Lamont. He had a really shaky start against Virginia Lynchburg, ended up going 1 of 10 from three-point range. But against Western Kentucky, he led the team with 20 points. The next leading scorer was 13 points from Tay Dozier, who is on injured reserve tonight. But 4 of 8 from 3 from Drew Lamont, able to find his rhythm against the Division I team, Western Kentucky.
Well, we'll give you the starting lineups. It's Lance Lauderbaugh, a 6'6" freshman out of Greensburg, Indiana, number 13 in red. It'll be Glenn Hill, a 6'4" senior out of Louisville. You'll find a lot of Louisville flavor on this team, courtesy of their head coach, Wiley Brown. Jacoby Hendricks, a 6-foot junior out of Jeffersontown, Kentucky, along with, number 1, Anthony Wells Jr. And, yes, he is related to Jaquay Wells. So there'll be some trash talking between the two, guarantee you. And I can't see the other gentleman, 32 it looks like, and that's Christian Stewart, a 6'7" senior out of Clarksville, Indiana. Georgetown wins the tip.
And we are underway.
And Lamont will have the basketball and gives back behind him to Wells. Wells with the basketball, working on Anthony Wells. Gives it off now to Brooks Harris. This is Lamont. In the corner, it goes to Johnson. Cross court to Wells. Post into, tipped up, no good. Rebounded by Kyron Jones, who put it up and in.
Kyron Jones battling on the offensive boards here early.
That's what Jones can do with that wide body. He goes 6'5", 220 pounds. This is Hill. Straight away now to Stewart. They go down low, and they got him free, and that is Lauderbaugh.
And a good cut by Lauderbaugh with a timely pass to the inside.
Everybody thinks you can get open off the dribble. Yes, you can if you're in the NBA, but good team basketball, you cut without the ball.
Off-ball movement so important in this game.
This is Wells with it. Gets a screen from Lamont. Lamont steps in. 18-footer. Rims in and out. Rebounded by Hendricks for the Grenadiers. Down the lane goes Hill. Now to Hendricks. 3 out of the corner. Good. I told you they will give Georgetown fits. The Grenadiers have done that for years under Wiley Brown, who is in his 16th year as the head coach of the Grenadiers. This is Johnson with it. Now to Kyron Jones. To Wells. Around to Johnson here on the left side. Into the lane. Cut off. Gives it back to Kyron Jones. 3 from the left wing. Short. Rebound tap. Chased down by Jones and bounces off the leg of Hendricks.
Way to
Tigers
chase down the rebound and keep the ball alive for your team.
Well, that's not Kyron's game. He can't shoot the 3 just to keep people honest, but his game is going in there and banging around in the paint.
And he does have sort of an unorthodox jump shot as well.
Yeah, he almost shoots it across his face. Brings it from the left shoulder up. This is Lamont, had it knocked away by Stewart. And Stewart recovers it for the Grenadiers, who will bring it up with 17:50 to play in the first half, leading 5-2. They go down low to Stewart. And a foul coming up on Cam Brooks Harris. The first one on Harris. And at the line will be Christian Stewart for 2 shots. Stewart looked like he could be a tight end on any
He is
football.
a behemoth of a man.
6'7". They list him at 240 pounds. And the first shot from the senior is off right, no good. But I tell you, I mean, I would line him up at tight end and little short passes over the middle. Probably a heck of a run blocker, too, maybe.
I bet you he has some previous experience in the football field back in his high school days.
I would say so. With a physique like that, I would say so. He goes 1 for 2 at 6'2". Grenadiers. Jacquay Wells loses the ball. They want it over and back call, but they don't get it. This is Brooks Harris. Down low it goes to Lamont. Back to Brooks Harris. Here across to Johnson. 3 left wing. Looks left, is left. Rebounded by Hill for IU Southeast. Wells, though, played little snake in the grass.
A little brotherly love there.
Yep. 2 now for Jacquay, and it's 6-4 IU Southeast. Stewart and Lamont battle. It comes ahead to Wells. Now to Johnson. May have shuffled his feet there when he came to a stop, but we play on. Here's Wells with it. To Brooks Harris in the right corner. Skip pass over here to Lamont. In the corner to Johnson. Johnson steps inside. Has room that goes in the corner to Brooks Harris. 3 out of there. 2 strong. Rebound tipped into the hands of Jones, and the Tigers reset. They go down low on the left block to Jones. Out to Wells. Across to Brooks Harris. He'll shoot 3 out of the right wing this time. Back rim no good. Jones had it, but it's knocked away by Hill. I'm sorry, that's louder ball. I've been calling Hill.
And if the Grenadiers keep allowing Cam Brooks Harris to get open looks beyond the 3-point line, eventually they're going to start falling.
Shooting them too strong. Both shots were too strong off the back iron. In the corner to Wells, and he said he stepped out of bounds. They got lucky to the Grenadier, and Wiley Brooks just stares at Glenn Hill because he let that pass come all the way across the lane. I'll tell you, Wiley was a pretty solid defender in his day at the University of Louisville.
Go
I'm
Cards.
surprised I know that. This is Wells with it for IU Southeast. Gives back to Hill for 3. Left it short. Rebounded by Johnson for Georgetown. They head the other direction. Brooks Harris with it on the handoff from Johnson. He'll work on Stewart. In the lane. Left-hand layup. Too strong. And a foul on Lamont.
And a great move to get to the cup, but unable to finish on that one.
Well, it looked like Cam couldn't decide whether or not he wanted to go glass or lay it directly in. Got caught in between and shot it too hard. 6-4 IU Southeast. As Wells gets it across the timeline. May have got away with double dribble there. But we play on. This is a 3 for Hendricks. No good. Rebound by Kyron Jones. Out on the dribble comes Jones. Into the circle. The lob down low to Lamont. Into the paint to Wells. In the corner to Cam Brooks Harris. Back out to Wells. Can't get his shot off. Nice job of closing out by Armani Carr. This is Cam Brooks Harris. No good out of the left corner. Rebounded by Stewart. Here come the Grenadiers again. Georgetown falling in love with a 3-point shot here early.
And shots not falling for Cam. Already 0 for 3 from 3-point range.
Down the hole goes Hill. Step back. Front rim. And it drops.
And so far, a low-scoring defensive affair here in the first quarter.
I say Georgetown's not shooting the ball well. IU Southeast is not shooting it near as well, but they do have the 8-4 lead. Under 15 to play in the first half. Jones back to Brooks Harris, who puts it on the floor, penetrates, floats, in and out, rebounded by Hill.
Just a tough start for Cam. Not able to see one go through the net.
Well, he's got to take it to the rim harder, I think, and finish strong. The other stuff will happen later. This is Wells back to Carr. Down the block it goes to Stewart. Fall away from 7, left at 5. That's always embarrassing. You 7-foot shot and you leave it 2 feet short. Rebound or the 3 for Lamont.
And finally, the Tigers connect from 3-point range.
First 3 of the game for Georgetown and IU Southeast. I tell you, in 16 years of knowing Wiley Brown, coach over here at IU Southeast, he doesn't fool around. Somebody didn't get out and get a hand up, and he immediately calls timeout. I mean, his team's got the lead, playing pretty well here in the first little less than 6 minutes of this first half, and he's talking defense.
Yeah, and this is a coach with, player experience, like you said, at the University of Louisville.
He's got professional experience, too. They played briefly in the NBA, then I think went overseas and played a few years. So he knows when he's talking defense, he knows what he's talking about. He was actually a ferocious rebounder, too, in his day.
And this is just a super well-coached team.
Yep. I will agree.
And the players respect him as well because of his experience.
Well, he still looks like he could play. And he played, I think, in the late 80s. So he looks like he can still play.
He looks like he's also the tallest guy on their team.
He might be. He went about 6'8", 6'9". But he was always, he was a rebound machine and a half. His days for Denny Crum and the Cards. This is Wells. He'll bring it across on Jaquay Wells. Turns, put it up from 6, too strong, rebounded by Brooks Harris. Here come the Tigers looking for the lead. Wells cut off by his brother.
And what a surreal moment to be playing at a collegiate level against your brother.
Yeah, one's a senior, one's a freshman, or a junior, I'm sorry. Been here, I've seen him since his Harris down low to Jones, who had the shot, took it to the other side, had it blocked by Ladderball, got it back, put it up no good, and a late whistle. And they're going to call it on Ladderball.
And Kyron Jones, a little fidgety in the paint. He's got to be able to just go up and dunk that ball if he's right there.
Well, he had a layup on the left side and for some reason decided to take it back to the right side and gave Ladderball a chance to defend it the first time. Jones's free throw is good. And you don't want to give the defender a chance to block your shot or defend it any better. That's what he did by doing that. So young people, take it up strong on the side you catch it. Left that one short, but Johnson with the offensive rebound. Bounces back out to Lamont. Johnson with it here to the left side. Guarded by Hendricks. Into the lane. Spins to Johnson. Put it up from 7. Too strong. Lamont tip no good. Johnson comes down with a loose ball. Put it off glass. Count it in a foul.
Seth Johnson fighting for the rebound on the free throw, on his own miss. It doesn't matter.
Well, I'll tell you what. He and Lamont kept it alive on the glass. And
Seth Johnson only at 6'3", but not afraid to get in the paint and jump around with the big guys.
No, and Johnson goes, according to this, 185. He looks a little bit bigger than 185 as we look at him atop here, Davis Reed Alumni Gym. And Johnson hits the free throw for the three-point play, and the Tigers now have an 11-8 lead. First lead of the night for the Tigers. This is Hendricks, guarded by Johnson. Lamont switches out on him, but now Lamont and Stewart doing some banging down there on that left block. Hill drives, missed the shot. Wells has it after tip out from Brooks Harris.
And a little contact, but no foul.
Grenadiers back, a traveling call on Brooks. He got it caught on his hip.
And Drew Lamont is still down, agonizing in pain under the basket.
Yeah, I don't know if he got his ankle or what there, but he is down. Lamont got the start tonight. And he gets up, and that's one of those where I think you got hit in the solar plexus, and your wind goes out of you.
And you and I have seen that on the football field and here again on the basketball court.
I've had it happen to me. And that's one of those where somebody comes out and asks you a question you can't answer because there's no air in you to answer with.
That's one of those that you just got to give it a few minutes.
Yep.
Rashad Bishop into the game for the Tigers.
Yep. Bishop replacing Lamont, who's been active in the first 7.5 minutes of this one.
And he's no slouch either at 6'7", 190 pounds.
Yeah, here is Wells, straightaway 3, and we are tied at 11. Anthony Wells Jr. with his first field goal of the night. And the Grenadiers pull even with Georgetown here. Second three of the night for
the Grenadiers.
Yeah, the Grenadiers. I'm sitting here I missed a field goal somewhere. I will catch it up, though. This is Johnson. Right elbow, it goes to Jones. Now to Wells straight away. In the corner, Jones for three. Johnson for three, just ahead of the shot clock buzzer.
Seth Johnson striking from distance in a timely manner.
6 for Johnson now, and it's 14-11 Tigers. Here's Wells, gets away from his younger brother, misses the layup, and rebound pulled off by Thomas. Tigers run. Wells back to Thomas. Almost had his pocket picked by Wells. Now to Johnson. Gives behind him to Jones. Jones working on Hendricks. Spins in the lane, puts it up. Nope, gets it over to Johnson in the corner. They come out on Johnson. He spins, left hand, underhand, good.
Seth Johnson taking it to the big man, right to the rack for the easy deuce.
8 for Johnson. It's 16-11 Tigers with 11:15 to play in the first half. Hill pulls up 16 straight away, in and out, rebounded by Wells. Wells, skip pass over here to Johnson. Left corner it goes to Jones, who will work on a new man in the lineup. That is Caleb Brown, 23 in Garnet. And a foul on Brown for the reach in.
And so far, these officials are letting the boys play. You know, we've seen a little bit of contact, but for the most part, this has been a fluid game.
13th foul on IU Southeast, and there's timeout on the floor. Media timeout with 10:53 to play in the first half. It's Georgetown 16, IU Southeast 11 on the Tigers Sports Network. Back at Davis Reed Alumni Gym on the campus of Georgetown College. It's the Georgetown College Tigers with almost halfway through the first half with a 5-point lead over IU Southeast. 16-11 Tigers. It is Jabron Spikes into the lineup for Georgetown, number 4 in white for the first time tonight. Spikes with it. He almost got himself 3 seconds on the shot clock. Go down low, and the Tigers will turn it over.
And that's a bad possession for the Tigers, unable to get a quality shot up.
Hill, Euro step to the left, left it short, rebounded by Jones. Also into the lineup for Georgetown, number 24 in white is Rashad Bishop. And we have a discard foul. That was, give the Academy Award to Glenn Hill. He acted like he had been shot at.
And I don't like that call.
Well, you know, I can say for history, I used to do the same thing. They call me a great actor on the basketball floor. This is Hill, and now we get a moving screen on Ethan Hadaway. Hadaway, a 6'9", 200-pound true freshman out of Mount Washington.
Well, Darren, I think I might have jinxed this earlier. I said there wasn't a whole lot of calls going on, but now we see a few back-to-back.
A couple of back-to-back. But that's okay. We'll play on here. The Tigers missed the shot, rebounded by the Grenadiers, and they head the other way. This is Wells with it. Pulls up, cut off nicely by Johnson. Into the lane goes Hill, and it's swatted out of there by Bishop. Rashad Bishop, a 6'7", 190-pound redshirt freshman out of Louisville Ballard.
And he is making his presence known on the defensive end. Great block on that shot.
Here's Wells from 15, right baseline, back rim, no. Rebounded by Jones. When Jones gets both hands on it, you can forget about it.
It's a sure thing.
Yep, it's a rebound. He's not giving it up. This is Johnson. Johnson splits two defenders, gives back to Thomas, and then in the lane goes Spikes. So Jabrion Spikes with his first two. They go down low. Bishop said, no, sir. Hadaway beat the Tigers down the floor, but Bishop got back in time. Hadaway gave him a pump fake. Bishop didn't fall for it, but he swatted it out with the left hand anyway.
And Rashad Bishop right now is protecting the paint at a tremendous level.
So they give it in to Hendricks. Hendricks with the basketball. Now to Hill in the left corner, guarded by Jones. Hill going to try to back Jones down in. He gets him deep, falls away from 8, missed the shot. Jones tips it out. Johnson has it for the Tigers. 18-11, Georgetown with 8:58 to play before halftime. Johnson cuts his dribble down, in trouble. Just puts it up, knocked away by Hendricks. Nobody came to help him.
Somebody's got to come and get that ball.
Here's Wells with it, headed the other direction for IU Southeast. Down the left side of the lane, left it short. Drops right into the breadbasket of Thomas. He's headed the other way into the corner to Johnson. 3, line drive, no good. Rebounded by Thomas. He'll go back up left hand, got it.
Tommy Thomas with the effort.
His first 2. Tigers lead now 20-11. And we have a whistle and a foul coming up on Spikes.
And that is one thing that Tommy Thomas is great at, is those hustle points, those second chance points. Great effort. The Georgetown Tigers came to play today.
Yep, Spikes out of Caldwell County High School, Princeton, Kentucky, in case y'all were wondering what town is there. They get it into Hendricks, actually the home of Pookie Jones. Too young before you know. Here's Stewart. People will know who I'm talking about at my age. Way off is Hendricks with a 3. Rebounded by Brooks Harris, headed the other direction. And then bad shot on one end by Hendricks, and then a silly foul on the other end.
And here comes the sub.
And I believe that's Hendricks' first, but
Xavier Price into the game for Jacoby Hendricks.
Yep. And then Hendricks had to walk right past Coach Wiley Brown. That's got to be an uncomfortable feeling to walk by your head coach that is that size of a man and that intense. Down low to Jones. He blocked himself on the underside of the backboard. Price, number 10 in Garnet, 6 foot, 180, a freshman out of Louisville.
And give credit to Price on that one, able to, kind of not let Jones get into the paint for a good attempt.
Spikes inbounds to Jones. Bad pass picked off by Hill. Ahead it goes to Carr. They almost lose it. Here's Wells out of the right corner, partially blocked by Brooks Harris into the hands of Hill, who laid it in. 4 now for Hill. 20-13 Tigers with 7.5 to play in the first half here in Georgetown. Tigers looking for their 3rd win in as many games in the NAIA. Spikes, left block to Jones, who's double team, kicks it back out. Spikes, 3 on the way, short, rebounded by Hill. This is Wells with Brooks Harris waiting on him. Now Jones says, I'll take him. Back it goes to Price. Now to Wells, 3 deep, right side, good. 6 for Anthony Wells.
And Kyron Jones is going to need to contest that shot more than just a clap.
Yeah, you got to get out to him. It's 20-16 Tigers now. 6:38 to play in the opening half. Spikes down the lane, floater good.
Beautiful floater.
Georgetown now up 6. Back it comes to Wells. Spikes on him now. Down the right side of the lane. He throws it high off the glass, and it falls for Anthony Wells Jr. 8 now for him.
And just an amazing shot high off the glass.
He had to get it up over Rashad Bishop, who came out of help side defense and threw it high off the glass. 22-18 Tigers.
And nobody was going to be able to contest that one.
Gives it to Spikes. Thomas out of the corner for 3. Way too strong. Brooks Harris, though, gets the ball on the ground and says he's on the ground.
And that air ball was just as good as the pass.
Yes.
Feels like Thomas might have rushed that one with defenders in his face.
Yes. And Hill picks up his first. And we get into the ball game for IU Southeast. Jaron Starks, a sophomore, 5'9", out of Clarksville, Indiana, and it'll be a media timeout. We'll keep it right here. We gave you the girls' schedule for the next little bit here at Georgetown. Let's give you the men's upcoming schedule. Of course, here at home tonight, they get back on the floor in a couple of days against the Eagles of Midway University. Not a long trip for Midway to come over here. Midway, a member of the Appalachian Athletic Conference. Then the men and women, that'll be part of a double. That'll be a single game with the men tomorrow on Thursday night. The women play on Friday night in a single game. Then the men and women will be in a doubleheader with a brand new addition to the Mid-South Conference in Wilberforce University out of Ohio, out of Wilberforce, Ohio. They'll be up in Central Ohio to take on Wilberforce on the 17th. And then the 19th, we talked about that at length. You need to be out here in Georgetown. Men's, women's doubleheader. The number 1 women's team in the NAI comes in Thomas More. The number 2 men's team in the country in Thomas More comes to town. It is a men's, women's doubleheader. 1 and 3:30 will be the game times. Georgetown and Thomas More a week from this Saturday. You want to talk about an early season opportunity for the men and women to make a statement in the Mid-South Conference. That's it right there on the 19th. Spikes with it out on the right wing, guarded by Starks. Spikes into the lane, left it short, got his own rebound back, brought it down, though. You don't want to bring it down, and they take it away. Stewart has it. Did a good job of getting his offensive rebound, but you don't bring it down. Keep it up. Here's a 3 out of the corner for Hill. Or, no, sorry, that is Price, and he missed everything.
And a great contest by Tommy Thomas in that corner 3.
Brooks Harris, going to call him for traveling.
Let's talk about that rebound from Jabrion Spikes, the 6'2" guard, able to get up there and get the rebound. But you're absolutely right. You can't bring that down. You got to keep it up and get it out of the paint.
And you usually say to the big guys, don't bring it down, because those little guys will get it. Well, Starks is even shorter than Spikes. Spikes goes 6'2". Starks, number 4, who has the ball right now for IU Southeast, is 5'9".
But Spikes is an incredible athlete, and he's got jumping ability and speed.
Here's a shot from the left of the circle, no good by Amari Carr.
What a rebound by Rashad Bishop, and the outlet pass.
Here's Thomas. He'll hang, left it short. Good contest by Carr. Gets it out ahead to Hill. Here come the Grenadiers. Hill, 3, left wing. Nobody underneath the rebound for IU Southeast. This is Georgetown's tempo. They will run and run and run. Carr, or that's Brooks Harris. Now to Thomas. Oh, crossover. Hanging in the lane. They're going to call a charge. Foul is on Tommy Thomas, his first. And the 5th on the Tigers in the first half. Looked like to me that Hill was falling before Thomas got there, but in the official's eyes, he said no.
Yeah, that's absolutely one of those calls. You know, it can go either way.
That's the most difficult call, in my opinion, for officials, is the block charge.
100%.
Because it happens so fast. You got to make 4 different determinations. Was the defender set in a defensive guarding position before the offensive player left the floor? Is he out of the semicircle? Did he start falling before the guy got there, and how much contact was there. All in a split second.
It is a tough call to make.
It is. Very tough call. And you throw that little circle down there, that throws everything in a bind. This is Hill working on Lamont. Glad to see Lamont back in the game. Carr banks in a three.
Off the glass, and he gives a little chuckle.
Yeah, the bank is open.
Not sure if it was intended.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, if you ask him, it was. Every good shooter says, "Yep, I meant to do that."
We'll have to ask him later if he called glass.
They go down low to Bishop, and that was a quick move. Take it to the basket, and one. I think Stewart with the foul.
Physical play, driving to the cup.
Nope, they called it on Carr. Good. I know better than assume who the foul's on. And Bishop will go to the line for one free throw, and he misses the free throw, rebounded by Hill. 24-21, Tigers with 4 minutes to play in the first half from Georgetown. Tigers looking to go 3-0 on the season. Here's Wells, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it. We will talk a little bit more in length about that exhibition game against Western. Hill into the lane, lost it, got it back, throws it high off the glass, no good. Jones had the rebound, then Hill picked his pocket, missed it again, and the ball goes off of Hill out of bounds. Hustle, and Wiley Brown's got to be happy with that from his senior Glenn Hill.
And Glenn Hill obviously frustrated there, but great hustle, like you said, working to get the steal.
He went down and got it, and, I mean, just worked his backside off. And then he picked Kyron Jones's pocket. Here's Brooks Harris down the lane. Pass over to Bishop, who dribbled off his foot out of bounds.
And a good feed inside by Cam Brooks Harris on that
Well,
drive.
I thought when Brooks Harris, though, split the double team, he had a layup. Like the unselfishness, but I think too unselfish there. In the corner it goes to Brown. Back out it comes to Wells. Wells waiting on a pick from Stewart. Waves him off. Now gives around here to Hendricks. Now to Wells. Wells gets a screen from Stewart. Doesn't use it very well. Back in corner to Carr for three. Shot this one too strong. And the ball's out of bounds off of the Grenadiers, Caleb Brown. Brown goes 6'3", a sophomore out of Jeffersonville, Indiana.
And it's only right that Jaquay Wells is guarding his brother, Anthony Wells Jr. You know, that goes back to the days in the driveway, hooping against your brother.
Mom and dad come out here. There's a fight between the two sons again. And that's just sibling rivalry.
What a surreal
Nothing
matchup.
bad. Oh, yeah. Jaquay will bring it across. Anthony Wells waiting on him. I think they may be cousins. I don't think they're brothers. Bishop misses the slam. Nice pass from Wells. Bishop, I think, got too high, if that's possible. He'll try to break the double team, force it up between a triple team and a foul. Who's that on? Is that on Hill or is that on? It's on Hadaway.
And he was absolutely high enough for that alley-oop. Just a little bit too much rim on the slam dunk.
I think it's possible he may have been too high. If that is possible. I've never been able to jump that high, so I don't know. First free throw from Bishop is way off. Tigers struggling from the free throw line here in the first half. Stewart comes in, replacing Hadaway again. Hadaway's a freshman. He's going to learn.
And free throws are so important in all aspects of the game, and it's going to come back later to bite them if they don't start knocking them down.
Yep. Bishop hits the second. He has three by my count here in the first half. Under 2.5 to play here in the first half. Georgetown leads 25-21. Wells with a nice drop. Boy, that was that's what they call a dime. He dropped it down to Stewart, who got the easy one.
And that was some elite ball handling into the paint.
25-23, IU Southeast. Trails by 2 as Georgetown has the ball. Wells now to Lamont. Down low to Bishop. Bishop turns into a double team. Skip pass intercepted by Hendricks. Headed the other way. 3-on-2 as Wells sets up for a three. In and out. That thing did everything but drop. Johnson headed the other way for Georgetown. Off to Bishop. Nice job hustling back by Hendricks. And Georgetown squanders a 2-on-1 opportunity.
And really both teams are playing with so much effort and intensity on the defensive end. it's hard to get a bucket.
Georgetown, 9 times out of 10, under Chris Briggs and before him, Happy Osborne, they got a 2-on-1 break. They usually finalized it, but they were unable to do that then. They go down to Lamont. Now back to Cam Brooks-Harris. Now to Lamont. Back to Cam Brooks-Harris. Now it goes to Wales. In the corner, Johnson steps out. 3. Short. Shot Dinga's hand up underneath of it and shot it too flat.
Did not look like his normal jump shot. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Here's Hendricks straight away. Back rimmed it and it died on it and fell off. Jones with the rebound. Headed the other direction. Brooks-Harris for 3. Got it.
There it is. The three-pointer finally falls for Cam Brooks-Harris.
28-23 Tigers. A lot of action, but not a lot of points. 51 points between these two teams. I've seen them hang up some serious points in this series.
And it all comes down to the effort on the defensive end on both ends of the floor.
Well, shot selection has not been great on either end consistently tonight, I don't think.
But you can also attribute that to the defense and not allowing them to get those easy shots.
Wells, 18-footer straight away, hit the floor, no call. Here comes Jones with the ball to Lamont. Skip pass over to Wells. Wells will back it out. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Maybe a half second between the two. Wells working on Brown. Jones, 3, right corner, yes.
It's not pretty, but it works.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest side. Here's a 3 from Hill, no good. Rebounded by Johnson. Hill let a three-quarter shot go. It's wide right.
Watch out, band members.
Yeah, you got to pay attention down there. Georgetown goes on a 6-0 run over the last minute 40 to take a 31-23 lead here at halftime. LC and I'll be back, give you the halftime stats, and get you set for the second half of Georgetown College men's basketball on the Tiger Sports Network. Halftime of the men's game here at Davis Reed Alumni Gym. The host Tigers lead the Grenadiers of IU Southeast by a score of 31-23, and we were looking at some of the numbers as we got the stats here at halftime. Georgetown shooting 34% from the field. Seems like they're shooting a lot worse than that. They are 12 of 35 in the first half, 4 of 13 from behind the arc. They are really struggling shooting the basketball. They are dominating the glass, however. 31 rebounds tonight in the first half for Georgetown to 12 for IU Southeast.
And IU Southeast also not shooting much better from the three-point line.
4 of 12 for the Grenadiers. They are 33% from the three-point line. Georgetown is 31% from behind the arc, so neither team shooting well. Georgetown, 3 of 6 from the foul line. Grenadiers are 1 of 2 from the free throw line, so neither team getting there very much in the first half. Individually, the scoring looks like this for IU Southeast. 8 points for Anthony Wells Jr.
The next leading scorer is 4 points for Glenn Hill.
Glenn Hill, and 3 each for Jacoby Hendricks, Christian Stewart, and Amari Carr, and 2 points for Lane Louderbaugh.
But what really jumps out to me is the 10 rebounds from Kyron Jones.
Yep, here in the first half. He only has 6 points. They are led in scoring by Seth Johnson, who has 8.
And how about this? 31 rebounds for the Tigers,
that's
opposed
big.
to only 12.
9 on the offensive glass. They credit Johnson with only 1 offensive rebound, but I know he had at least 2 on 1 possession in the offensive end. It's 8 points for, as I said, for Johnson, 6 for Jones, 4 points for Spikes. We have 3 each for Brooks Harris and for Rashad Bishop. 2 points for Tommy Thomas and 3 for Drew Lamont and 2 for Jacquay Wells for Georgetown. Everybody who played in the first half for the Tigers scored.
And you have to expect Wiley Brown to harp on rebounding on both ends of the floor. You know he's talking about that right now in the locker room, and that's going to be the main emphasis when they get back out here for the second half.
Georgetown leads 31-23 here at, at the halftime break. The largest lead in the first half for IU Southeast was 4. That came early at the 17:51 mark. Georgetown's largest lead was 9 at the 8:41 mark of the first half. So as you look, it's an 8-point lead here at the break. So it has been kind of nip and tuck through the first half here in Georgetown. Tigers lead at the halftime break, 31-23. We're about 8 minutes away from the second half underway, and 2 former Tigers, Troy Stewart and Chris Coffey. And Chris Coffey, actually a National Player of the Year back in the, I believe, 2018 National Championship year.
One hell of a player.
Well, a quick Chris Coffey story. Everybody will know that I love telling stories about guys that I've met in this business. Chris Coffey always told us, Jason Griefer, the new sports information director here, was the longtime play-by-play voice for Georgetown, who I was a partner with, who I've taken over for. Well, Jason and I were sitting in Kansas City before the national semifinal game, okay? Not the opening round, national semifinal game. So we're sitting here, courtside, and we're going through the pregame show. We're on the air. We feel the table move. We look over. Here's Chris Coffey stretched out on the table in front of us, goofing off, only as Chris Coffey can do, right? Well, Chris, as we get off the air to go to commercial break, I take my headset off and like I said, Chris, I appreciate your looseness and how loose you are and ready to go, but you better have a big game tonight.
If you're going to stretch out on my scorers table.
Well, have a big game is an understatement. 30 points, 15 rebounds, and oh, by the way, he had 8 assists. and 4 blocks in that game.
And that's about as close as you can get to a triple-double.
Thank you. And I told him, I said, after the game, I said, you're lucky that you had a big game because that behavior is crazy to me. But that's Chris Coffey. That's the guy that everybody came to, especially the kids in attendance, came to know and love at Georgetown College. He was marched to his own drummer. He did nobody knew what was going on in Chris's head from day to day. Even Chris Briggs didn't know, but a very fun-loving guy and doing very well on the professional scene overseas. He's had numerous tryouts with the NBA. We wish him luck.
Absolutely, and hopefully he does get that shot in the NBA. I know that's his dream, and it would be awesome to see him fulfill that dream.
So I had to give him a shout out, and now he'll know that I still think about him occasionally. So he showed up at a football game, and I had to get a picture of him being at the game with me, and I posted it, and people that knew me, that are friends of mine on Facebook, decided, guess what? We're going to comment because we have to, because we know the relationship you have with Chris Coffey. But I've had a lot of great relationships with guys. I'm just now going to get to know this team this year. And we have, as Chris Briggs normally has, and I'll just say not just Chris Briggs, as Georgetown College men's basketball usually has, they have some athletes all over the floor at every position. They've got them this year. Will it translate into another deep national tournament run? We'll see.
I would love to see it. And these are athletes with size, too. There's height all over the floor. And even the undersized guys have the jumping ability and the effort on the defensive end, which is not what you always see from the undersized individuals.
That's another Georgetown alum, but I can't think of who he is. Golly. It is not good getting old because your mind tends to you forget.
I'm going to do my best to stay where I'm at.
Okay. Well, I don't stay in my lane ever, so, nonetheless. But that's always good to see. That tells you how a program is built. It started under it started under Dr. Bob Davis. And this program, get this, folks, this Georgetown program probably for the last 50 or some odd years, maybe longer, has had 4 head coaches. 4. Think about that.
That's not a lot.
That's not. And you got some coaches at every level that have gone through 4 coaches in 4 years.
And that consistency is so helpful for the contingency of the program.
Yes. That started with Dr. Bob Davis, then became the program for Jim Reed, the late, great Jim Reed. Then it went into the hands of Happy Osborne, the longtime assistant for Jim Reed, and a character in his own right. And then it fell to Chris Briggs. And, Chris is now in his 12th year. That's what you want a college program to be. And, oh, by the way, I can't say it about UK anymore. They're the number 2 all-time winningest program in NCAA Division I history. Georgetown, the number 1 all-time winningest men's basketball program in NAIA history. That tells you the consistency of this program.
And it speaks for itself. Just an amazing statistic and an amazing program.
Now, some of the schools that started in NAIA have moved up to like NCAA Division III or Division II. The longtime great rival of Georgetown in Transylvania. They are now NCAA Division II.
Like Bellarmine University.
Bellarmine's now Division I. I think at one time they were NAIA. Kentucky State, who played UK the other night in an exhibition game, they were, believe it or not, an NAIA team at one time back in the early 70s. And actually won, I think, back-to-back NCAA or NAIA national championships. So, you have teams like that have moved up in levels and things like that. But Georgetown has just stayed consistent, and that's why they are where they're at.
And there's no doubt that the school values this basketball program.
Yeah. Well, they value their athletic programs in general. They support, and this community supports a whole bevy of things, but man, they really show up for their athletic programs, to be honest with you. Especially when you get big games, you'll have big crowds. Would you agree?
And there's no doubt that this is a big game tonight.
It's a big game, but I guarantee you, Saturday, November the 19th, that is when this gym will be busting at the seams.
Yeah.
Georgetown on top, 31-23. LC and I'll be back for the second half of Tiger basketball on the Tigers Sports Network. Back at Davis Reed Alumni Gym, you hear the horn getting us set for the second half of action. And I was just telling LC off the air, I got to look at my phone more often. Our SID, Jason Griefer, sent me a message about getting Coach Nickel up here, the women's coach for Georgetown, and I flat just now saw the text about an hour and a half later. He's probably wondering, doesn't Darren look at his phone? Not very often when I'm doing a ball game. I focus.
We're locked in up here.
Yeah, locked in. It'll be IU Southeast basketball to begin the second half of action. It'll be Wells, Hendricks,
and we're off.
Lauterball. Wells really pressured. The ball's loose on the floor as Wells and Brooks Harris, and it goes back to IU Southeast. Lauterball, Hendricks, Wells, Hill, and Stewart. The five on the floor, the starting five. The start of the game back for the second half, it'll be Lamont, Wells, Brooks Harris, Johnson, and Jones, the same five for Georgetown that started the game. Just underway, it's 9 seconds on the shot clock here in the second half. Down the lane goes Hendricks, he lost it. Oh, they're going to say it went off of Lamont. And with 3 seconds left on the shot clock, IU Southeast will trigger in left baseline. They lob into Lauterball. Goes up over Brooks Harris. Too strong off the glass. Stewart crashes. Rebounded between three Grenadiers is Jones. Off to Brooks Harris. Out to Wells. Wells. Right side to Johnson. Now to Lamont. Deep three. Got it.
Lamont from way downtown cashes it home for the Tigers.
Lamont, 6'8", causing some issues with trying to pick him up deep.
And he has range beyond the three-point line. We've seen it time and time again.
34-23 Tigers with an 11-point advantage. Hill in the lane, falls away from 6, left it short. Ahead to Wells, ahead of the group. Lays it up, left it short, and a whistle late coming, and a Lauterball will be called for the foul. Nice pass up from Kyron Jones. Lauterball with his third personal foul. He's the first player in the game with 3, and Jaquay Wells will be at the line for 2 shots. Wells can score when asked.
And not a great shooting night for the Grenadiers. Only 25.7% from field goal range.
Yeah, and Wells hits the first free throw.
Looking to improve that 50% free throw percentage from the first half.
He had 2 points in the first half. And he's adding to it here as he makes both. He has 4. If you get points from Wells, it is called icing on the cake because everybody else can score. His job is to get this offense rolling and distribute the basketball.
Already leading the team with 3 assists.
It's 35-23, Tigers by 12 with 18:30 to play in the ball game. Hendricks, step back, 15-footer straight away, left it short. Lamont tipped it out. Jones will chase it, and it goes off of Lauterball. It goes back to the Tigers. Tell you what, they've got 1 senior or 2 seniors on this Grenadier Ball Club. Anthony Wells Jr. and Glenn Hill, the 2 seniors. Sophomores and freshmen for the most part on this roster. In the corner, Brooks Harris for 3. Quick release, no good. Stewart claims the rebound.
Not wasting any time on that jumper.
He had a foul on Wells trying to do the slap from behind. Is usually when you're in front and reach around the back like that, you're going to get called for the foul. 99.9% of the time.
You reach, I teach.
Yep, and it's at 0.1% that happens very, very rare. Here's Wells with it. Kind of a little danger zone right now for the Grenadiers, trailing by 13. This is Carr to Stewart, mid-post on the left side to Lamont, and they're going to call him for a foul, or they're going to call it on Georgetown. Going to call it on Lamont. Said he threw the forearm in the back. So the second team foul on Georgetown, the second on Lamont. And to get the shot clock back to 20.
A great job by the Tigers defensively, not allowing him to get a bucket. here in the second half yet.
They give it in to Hendricks. They leave him from 10, in and out. Rebounded by Johnson on the backside for the Tigers. To Lamont, sets his feet, left side, back rim, no.
It's a good look from Lamont, though.
Yep, rebounded by Johnson. Johnson to Wells. And Lamont will come over and set a screen for the junior. Allie gives him mid-post on the left side. Fall away, left it short. Carr might have hit him on the elbow, but Lamont's got to finish that if he's going to take the smaller guy down there. Here's a three for Carr, left wing, good.
And a great drive and dish.
Six for
Armani Carr.
Yes, 6 for Carr. It's 36-26. And I think the Grenadiers may have heard me danger time. They got a couple of stops and a big bucket there.
First bucket of the second half, and we got a 10-point game.
Yep. Here's Wells, gets a screen from Jones, lays it, and went off the wrong foot and everything and laid it in. 6 for Wells now.
And a precise layup, nearly blocked.
Well, he went off the wrong foot. They say if you go on the right side, you go off your left foot. He went off the right foot and kind of made himself a little bit off balance. And now Anthony Wells goes down the other side. He has 10 by my count. Here goes Jacque, now the other way. Here's Jones out of the corner for 3. Left it. Boy, he was going to bank that sucker in from the side.
Yeah, it's not good when your corner three hits the backboard before the rim.
You know it's your night when you do that.
And it goes in.
Yeah, the only time I've seen it, and I'll tell you about it in a minute here. Here is Wells with it. Gets a screen from Stewart. He slips the screen down. He puts it up over Wells. Missed the shot. Got his own rebound back. Missed it short. Goes back, puts it up again. Missed it too strong this time.
Unable to finish at the rim.
Well, there's a lot of contact, and Wiley Brown, the coach for the Grenadiers, upset with it. Here's Wells, 3, in and out, rebounded by Lamont. And he lost it. Here goes Anthony Wells, junior, the other way. And Coach Brown still looking at the official.
Not happy with the no call, no doubt about it.
I thought there was a lot of contact down there, at least one foul on that play. Give Stewart credit for continuing to battle. Just couldn't finish. He had 4 shots at it. Wells down the left side on Johnson. Good job by Johnson, moving his feet to cut him off. Now it goes to Carr, 17-footer, left it short, rebounded by Johnson. Johnson headed the other direction, crossover, goes straight to the rim, loses control of it, back to Lamont. Boy, Seth made a great move, just did everything but keep his balance to where he could finish. Brooks Harris spins in the lane, left-hand layup, good.
Great spin move for the wide-open lay.
5 now for Brooks Harris, and now Stewart not long enough to catch up with that pass, and the Grenadiers turn it over.
And Hendricks and Stewart just not on the same page. It was a good lead pass. Not sure if Stewart was ready to, run to get that ball for the layup.
I think he may have been a little winded, was Christian Stewart. Hendricks and Stewart exit as Caleb Brown and Glenn Hill enter for IU Southeast. 40-28, Tigers by 12. Brooks Harris for 3, no good. Johnson kept it alive, tipped it to himself. Jones missed it after the good feed from Johnson.
And that's a rare miss. He usually gets those in.
Well, he short-armed it. But that was a heady play by Johnson. Here's Wells down the lane. He left it short, rebounded by Jones.
Smoked the wide-open layup.
This is Johnson, 3, left side, good.
The 3 is true.
11 for Johnson.
Great ball movement to find the open shooter.
43-28 Tigers with 14 minutes to play in the ball game. Multiple subs getting ready to come in. Actually 3 if you look over at the bench. Here's Louderbaugh, gets it down low to Hill. Count it and a foul. Hill now, by my count, with 6 as we get Starks in replacing Wells. We get Rashad Bishop and Jabrion Spikes.
And Hill has not been efficient so far in this game. Only 3 of 14 from field goal. 0 of 3 from three-point range.
Yep, and he goes to try to complete the old-fashioned three-point play and does. And it's 43-30 Tigers with just under 14 minutes to play in the ball game. Jones gives to Johnson as they run a little weave on the far side over there. Spikes gets a screen from Bishop. Here's Johnson, tries, puts it off glass and in. That's a great take from Seth Johnson.
A great physical finish by Johnson once again.
45-31 Tigers. Here's Ladderball for three, and to silence the crowd a little bit, and he does.
Right in the face of Cam Brooks-Harris. Stares down the crowd a little bit.
45-34 Tigers. And just when you think the Tigers have the Grenadiers on their heels, they have an answer. Jones, that thing bounced all over the rim. That looked like it hit the underside of the rim on the left side, creeped over and bounced on the right side.
And Kyron Drones with one of the friendliest rolls I've seen in a while.
That's called the home gym there. Starks now to Brown. Over to Ladderball. Straight away to Hill. Pulls up from 17. Left it short. Jones with another rebound. Jones to Johnson. To Bishop on the right block. Spins, turns, got fouled. Man, when he makes that spin move, he makes it. I mean, you see people under control, but he makes it so fast that it's almost where you can't see it.
It's a lightning fast spin move, and the defender was not ready for it.
Second foul on Caleb Brown, and Rashad Bishop will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. His first one is good. Bishop now with 4. Matthew Jones, 21 in Garnet, making his first appearance, 6'2 junior out of Louisville. And number 33, Ethan Hadaway, the true freshman out of Mount Washington, Kentucky. As Bishop hits both. I told you, I mean, it is a heavy laden. They're IU Southeast, but they are heavy laden with Kentucky boys all over the roster for the Grenadiers.
And
it's
especially
right across
Louisville.
the river. It's right across the river from Louisville. I'd say the campus is probably, 4 miles across the river from Louisville?
It's not a bad drive at all.
No. Hill misses the three-pointer, rebounded by Brooks-Harris. He'll check it here on the near side. Now to Johnson. Johnson has a mismatch foot speed-wise with Brown. Gives to Spikes. Now speaking of mismatches with foot speed there. Brown did a decent job staying in front of Spikes. Here's Johnson. Right side, pulls up from 7, left it short, has some contact, no call. We're headed the other direction with the Grenadiers. Brown, back to Starks, almost walked. Gives it over to Hill. Hill, crossover, pulls up 15-footer straight away. Bishop may have gotten a piece of that one in the hands of Spikes. Bishop may have directed that one off left a little. I don't know if he got a piece of it or not. Spikes to Johnson in the corner to Bishop. Skip pass, right side. Jones for 3, short.
And so wide open in the corner. I feel like the Grenadiers almost want Jones to take that shot.
Oh, yeah, you're begging him to. This is Starks, almost lose it. In the corner to Brown, 3 on the way, airballed it. Hit Hill in the chest, but they're going to say it went off of Brooks-Harris. Into the game comes Tommy Thomas and Drew Lamont for Georgetown. And we'll get a media timeout. Timeout on the floor, 11:04 to play in the game. It's Georgetown 49, IU Southeast 34. This is the Tigers Sports Network. Big game coming up on the football gridiron this Saturday. It'll be the 18th. Well, I don't know. I gotta look see what Georgetown. LC, you know what Georgetown ranked yet in football? Have they moved up from the 18th ranked spot, or do you
I
know?
believe they are number 16.
16. So they're right there on that cusp of an upset of Lindsey Wilson on Saturday in Columbia for Chris Oliver, the former Blue Raider coach, now the head coach of the Tigers. could move the Tigers into a home playoff game the following Saturday.
And that sure would be interesting.
Could be.
It?
Yeah, real be interesting. The Georgetown's men's basketball team right now up 15 on the Grenadiers. They get Wells back in, 3 seconds on the shot clock. He'll float from 15. No good. Hadaway had it, and we're going to get Bishop on the foul as Hadaway was off balance. And Bishop just kind of helped him the rest of the way to the floor. Oh, they called it on Lamont. Interesting. I thought that was on Bishop. I didn't see Lamont anywhere in the area, did you?
Not sure why that was called on him.
Oh, well. It is what it is. So Lamont picks up foul number 3, the 4th on the Tigers here in the second half. Wells, a floater, nice one. For about 12. That's hard. I mean, you float going towards the rim, it's hard enough, but you float going away like Wells just did and hit that floater. That's impressive. They go down low to Spikes, and Hadaway going to be called for the foul as he gets a little more physical. And Bishop now shaking up a little bit for Georgetown. And
I believe it's going to be a shooting foul, even though he was looking to pass that ball.
I believe they're going to assume that Spikes was getting ready to shoot. But I agree with you. I think he was getting ready to pass. There was no shot there unless the last motion he made to act like he was going to shoot it there paid off.
I guess the foul was called on his way up before he decided to make the pass.
I guess, but Spikes hits the first free throw. If you're a Tiger fan, you'll take that.
Sure will.
I agree with you. I don't know if he was trying to shoot it there late or early and then decided to pass, but I thought he was really trying to pass the whole way, to be honest with you.
And he's got so much hang time that, he's able to do that.
Oh, to jump that high. 51-36. You can put a piece of paper underneath my vertical. I know you're a better leaper than I am, being with the men's volleyball team here.
Yes, sir.
What's your vert?
I'm not exactly sure what my vertical is. I haven't tested it in quite some time.
Bishop got a piece of that one, but Wells still got it to go. Wells now with 14 in his final trip here as a Grenadier to Georgetown College's Davis Reed alumni. 51-38. Grenadiers won't go away. They still within shouting distance with under 10 to play. Spikes gives to Lamont, now to Johnson, now to Spikes between the circles. A lot of motion for Georgetown. They lob it to Bishop, lays it off the glass and in.
And that alley-oop is true.
Looks like 7 for Bishop. Here's Wells. Well, that's a matchup that's something to watch. Here's 3 for Brown out of the corner. No good. He goes and gets his own because Bishop forgot to block him out.
And that's why you follow your shot.
Wells with the fake. Now he has too long to think. Bishop knocks it away from Hadaway. Here's Spikes all the way to the rim and a foul.
And Ethan Hadaway not happy with that one.
Ooh, they're going to call him Hadaway. I agree with it. I don't think it was Hadaway. I think it was the other Grenadier in the neighborhood that got the arm. I think Hadaway had all ball.
I'd have to agree.
That's the 4th on Hadaway. As Spikes, his free throw is short. Well, he shot that with all arm. There was no legs at all.
And Stewart into the game.
Yep, replacing Hadaway. Jones goes out for IU Southeast. And Spikes misses both, and Bishop should have been called for over the back. He put a saddle on Glenn Hill, and no foul called.
And there's that hustle play again by Tommy Thomas. Just scrambles for the ball, throws it off the defender, able to get that possession back for his team.
Tigers got away with a foul, though. Rashad was over the back of Hill. I mean, there was no question. But I guess when you jump that high, it makes it – even officials miss. They lob it into Bishop. He goes to the glass hard. Finger roll good.
Great drive. Physical drive to the rim.
He put his head down like a fullback, said, I'm getting his last yard. Here's Wells quickly in front court. Now to Hendricks. Skip pass over here. Hill for 3. Got it. Good ball movement by the Grenadiers.
And a clean jumper from Hill. I believe that's his first 3-point.
Yep, 10 for Hill now on the night. It's 55-41 with 8:45 to play. Georgetown still having IU Southeast hang around. Here's Thomas. Kicks back out, Spikes for 3. Back rim, no. Thomas goes and gets it, puts it up off the glass, good.
Unbelievable effort by Tommy Thomas again. You love to see it.
Thomas can jump. Down the lane goes Hendricks over Lamont. Left it short, gets it back. As both Spikes and Lamont just watched him. Here's Johnson with a rebound on a tip out by Spikes.
And a good contest by Lamont.
Lamont comes out after he and Spikes both. Here's Thomas straight away, back rim, no. Rebounded by Hill. Wells will give it to Stewart. Backs in Lamont. Lamont got a piece of the elbow. Good call.
And Lamont not happy with it, but
yep.
A lot of basketball players feel like they haven't fouled a day in their life.
Every basketball player. Don't say a lot.
Oh.
I'll put the other word there. Every basketball player never committed a foul in their life. I can say that because I was one of them. Of course, when I foul out, I'd say I had 5 fouls. I was going to use them all. First shot was good by Stewart.
Yeah, they give you 5 to use all 5 of them.
That's right. And I was going to use them. And I used them. And I got my money's worth on a few.
There you go.
Stewart hits both free throws. And I will say this. They weren't dirty fouls. I mean, they were fouls where I always thought if, you were down low and you were going to give up an easy basket, you make sure the guy didn't get the ball up on the rim to get a three-point play.
And make him earn those points at the free throw line.
Because back when I played, there was no three-point shot. This is Spikes. 57-43. Tigers by 14. Spikes down the lane. Gives it back to Bishop, who, oh, my.
Oh, my goodness. Bishop absolutely dunks on the defender. The crowd goes wild.
That
on his head.
Well, here's the thing. Bishop never touched the net, never touched the rim with a dunk. He threw that one in from about 1.5 foot away.
That's a Blake Griffin dunk. And I don't care that he missed the free throw. That dunk was exquisite.
Well, if you're going to dunk like that, though, you got to finish the three-point play, though. I mean, you really make it hurt if you go ahead and finish the three-point play.
But that dunk just elevates and throws the ball into the rim.
He's got some ups, that's for sure.
Remember on that alley-oop when he jumped too high?
Yeah. That was about
I think he might have jumped higher on that one.
Maybe, because he was throwing it down, literally. 59-43 is the Grenadiers' turn. They throw it up again to Bishop. He almost threw that one down, too.
And a lot of contact. I wonder if he got fouled on that one.
Wells misses the three-point shot. Johnson battling with Hill, and he pulls it down. He has Lamont. Lamont, two-hand dunk.
And it's a dunk fest here in Alumni Gym. Cam Brooks loving it on the bench.
Yeah. 8 for Lamont. 61-43 Tigers.
You think the Tigers are having a good time?
Yep. And 2 weeks from this Saturday, or a week from this Saturday, Hill tried to take it up, and Thomas with a rejection, but he's called for a foul.
And that sure looked like all ball to me. I don't know about that one.
May have gotten him down low. Nope, they said he got him on the wrist. So Thomas with his second foul.
And what was a pretty close game at the first half, the Tigers seem to be running away with it here.
Is Hill, yep, they're opening up some space finally. Hill hits the first free throw to cut the deficit to 17. The second one's no good. Rebounded by Lamont. Gives it off to Johnson, who will bring it across the timeline. Gives now to Thomas. Thomas is not near as big, but for Georgetown fans, they'll understand he's a lefty. I'll tell them in a minute. Spikes down low to Bishop. Out to Lamont. 3 on the way. Looks short is. Bishop, though, chases the rebound down. Hits Lamont on the cut, who laid it in.
And Bishop right now is balling. The feed to the inside cutter for the easy lay.
10 for Lamont. 65-44 Tigers.
And give the big man that assist.
Yeah, that should be 65, am I right? Nope, 63-44. Wells with a nice crossover. Step back on Johnson, missed it, and Brown is on the end line.
And a good move, but way short.
Yeah, I think he's just tired. We'll keep it right here, and I'll talk about who I think, in my mind, He's not near as big physically. But a guy by the name of Jermaine Brown, who played here at Georgetown, a lefty out of Fairdale High School in Louisville back in the 90s. He could flat get it. And he kind of reminds me of certain things he does. It reminds me of Jermaine. Jermaine was more of a physical player. He'd knock your head off with a.
He was a high flyer.
Wasn't much. He could jump, but he not like Thomas. But Thomas looks to do like just the grunt work, the blue collar work. That's what Jermaine did. Now Jermaine can do the highlight occasionally too, but he was known for getting these tough rebounds, these gutty rebounds,
and every
things like
team
that.
needs that glue guy
Yes.
that's willing to dive on the floor, make those hustle plays in order to get your team in a winning position.
Well, like Coach Dickel was talking about A.J. Stevenson on the women's side of things, she's kind of a chameleon, and whatever they needed, she could do. I mean, she could play point, she could play, five, she could come out and get you 25 or whatever. She can play defense on somebody, whatever they need on a particular night. It seemed like A.J. Stevenson can do. I believe that is what Thomas can do for this team for Chris Briggs.
100%, and that's versatility, and that's positionless basketball.
Yes. Georgetown with a 19-point lead and can increase it to 20 or more if they can get a bucket here. Spikes gets it back quick from Cam Brooks-Harris. That's tough to say. I think we just call him CBH.
CBH.
What if he'd like that? Okay.
We'll just call him Cam.
Okay, here you go. Wells with a floater from 8. Good. Jaquay now with 8. 65-44 Tigers with 5:18 to play.
Nearly
now,
a backcourt violation.
Now Spikes telling you what Starks had for pregame dinner tonight. Right up in his shirt collar, and he steals it from him. Headed the other direction. Gives it to Wells. We got really two really good point guards right now. They skip pass. Harris for 3. Back rim kicks high. No good. Starks, the smallest man on the floor, with a rebound.
And that shot was lined up perfectly, just a little too strong.
He's been shooting a little long all night. Hill down the lane. Bishop bothers it, and he shot it too hard over the rim. Rebounded by Brooks-Harris. Wells. They get out to Wells. Wells down low. No look pass to Bishop. Nice job of poking it away by Hill.
Good active hands by Hill to force the turnover.
That was going to be another rim rocker. Nice move by
Beautiful
Ladderball.
pump fake to get Kyron Jones in the air.
Ladderball with 5 now for IU Southeast. 65-46 Tigers with 4 minutes to play in this one.
The Grenadiers not giving up just yet, but they've got a long way to go with only 4 minutes to go.
Well, that's what they are known for under Wiley Brown. They will play till the final horn. This is Jones on the spin. He got it to go.
And 1. Count it.
That's 8 for Jones.
And he struggled from the free throw line. Let's see if he can knock it down and complete the three-point play
The
old-fashioned
old-fashioned
style.
way. Let's see if they can do it here. 3:52 to play. 67-46 Tigers, and he misses the free throw. This is Starks. Gives it to Hill. Hill working on Jones. Jones challenges, but Hill makes the basket. 67-48 Tigers by 19. Thomas back at the scorer's table, and I bet you that's for Kyron Jones. Because that was a little bit of Olay defense. Wells can't get free. He looked for Jones or Bishop on the. Bishop tried to drop it down to Brooks-Harris, but he threw it at his feet.
A good cut by Cam, but unable to receive the pass.
A deep 3 for Starks. No good. Rebounded by Brooks-Harris, who gives it off to Wells. Here come the Tigers again. Wells down the lane, off the glass, too strong. Knocked out of bounds by who? He's going to stay with Georgetown. Oh, Bishop going to come out. As Thomas comes in for the Grenadiers, it's Brady Schuler, 24 in Garnet.
Seeing his first few minutes of the game.
along with Xavier Price and Caleb Brown back in for the Grenadiers.
Mismatch right here.
Jones. Schuler, a 6-foot freshman out of Sellersburg, Indiana. Spikes miss it, tipped it back up, no good. And he battles Starks, and it goes out of bounds off of Spikes. Tigers leading. Clock's not moving. Clock's not moving. Still not moving. There it is. 2:42 to play. Here's Louderbaugh. Lays it up and in. 7 now for Louderbaugh. 67-50. Tigers by 17. Spikes ahead to Wells. Baseline. Back to Brooks Harris, who splits the double team. Now to Thomas. Now to Spikes. Spikes drives. Floater off the glass. Good.
And he is finishing with contact, and here's a steal. Back
Now
to Kyron.
Jones. Jones fouled. Foul is on Starks.
And I love to see that the Tigers are not giving up on the offensive end. A lot of
Right.
times when teams get the lead, they start to get complacent. But the Tigers able to continue to fight for points.
69-50 Tigers as Jones hits the first free throw. That gives Chad Omer in for Georgetown.
Seeing his first few minutes of the night.
Yeah, Omer 6'1", 170, a sophomore out of Taylor Mill, Kentucky.
And he is a shooter.
And Jones can.
He is able to stretch the floor. We saw it a little bit in the Virginia Lynchburg game.
Yeah. Jones has now a double-double. Well, he had 10 rebounds at halftime. Don't know how many he's going to wind up with. Foul on Spikes. And he fouled Starks. Just combined those two there. Starks has not scored tonight for IU Southeast. He'll be at the line for 1+1. He misses the free throw.
And that was a beeline free throw, too.
Yep. Hit back iron and kicked way off of there.
Not much arc on that one.
Thomas with the basketball here on the near side. Pulls up. Over to Omer. Deep three. Left of the circle. Not a long.
And how
not a
about
lot
that?
of time. Yeah.
Sat the bench the whole game. The first time he touches the ball, he pulls, and nothing but net.
Yep.
Love to see
No
it.
hesitation either.
And right on cue, I called it, did I not?
You did. And Price with his first two for the Grenadiers. 74-52. Tigers by 22. 1:20 to play. Thomas across to Omer. Almost threw it in the lap of our statistician over there on the far side. Here's Spikes. Penetrates. Can't get his shot off. He's going in the lane. He's going to pull it up with the right hand. Good.
And the tough finish. Calls his defender little.
Jabrion Spikes with 8. And it's 76-52 Tigers. Under a minute to play. Starks, step back 15-footer. Left it short. And Brooks Harris knocks it out of bounds. It'll go back to the Grenadiers.
Sean Reaney replacing Kyron Jones.
And here
John
comes
Reaney
Sean
in.
Rennie.
Yep. Ethan Hadaway back in for IUSC. Here's Starks working on Spikes. Can't get free. Gives it to Schultz. Schultz across here to Jones. No good. Rebounded by Schultz. Missed the shot. Reaney passed it to Spikes, hit him in the chest, and then looks at him and says, well, what were you expecting it? Starks for 3.
Yeah, Spike's not happy with the pass after that rebound.
Well, Reaney, I know has been told, get it to a guard as quick as you can. Most big men are. Here's Brooks Harris in the corner to Spikes. 3, fall away, good.
And a great job by Brooks. Got a little bit of off foot, but able to hold that ball and dish it out to the corner.
Jabrion with 11 now. Here's Omer headed the other direction. Omer will back it out. And a foul on, going to be a carry. We don't see that called very much anymore.
You really don't.
hardly at all. And I criticize the and one mixed tour.
And an interesting call with only 4.5 seconds to go.
Yeah. Well, Georgetown will win it, and they'll go to 3-0 on the season with a 79-55 victory. And it was closer than this final score is going to indicate in the first half. I mean, the Grenadiers really gave the Tigers a tough time.
Yeah, and it was a close game after the first half, but the Tigers able to find their rhythm offensively and really put some points on the board. And I think defensively they played a great game all around.
Tigers go to 3-0 on the season, and coming up Thursday night at 7 o'clock right here at Davis Reed Alumni Gym, the men will play host to the Eagles of Midway University just down the road about 20 minutes.
And it goes to show if you dominate the boards, you're going to get second chance opportunities, and you're going to have a great opportunity to win the ball game.
Yeah, if you get on the offense, especially get on the offensive glass, you're going to have second, third, and fourth chances at the bucket, and the Tigers did that tonight. I don't know if Chris Briggs is going to come up here and join us after this one is done. Let me check with our SID here. Yep, he's going to send up Briggs. So we'll see that here in just a minute. So we'll see if Chris Briggs comes up here pretty quick or not. The Tigers will await Midway on Thursday night, and then we'll get a look at the number. Then they'll travel up a week from Thursday night to Ohio to take on Wilberforce in a men's-women's doubleheader. First time ever that these two teams will meet as part of the Mid-South Conference. So we'll get those guys here, and then we'll see the number 2 men's team in the country come to town on the 19th of November when the Tigers play host to Thomas More. That's a men's-women's doubleheader. The number 1 women's team comes in. The number 2 men's team comes in here to take on the Tigers, and that is a heck of an early season contest for both the men and the women.
Right, and talk about, an extremely difficult test for this Tigers basketball team. They've had some great opponents like Western Kentucky in the exhibition.
Right.
But this will be a true test in conference and really a great game. I'm excited for it.
I'm going to see if we're going to get Chris Briggs up here or not. I know Jason said he's going to send him up, so we'll give him a couple of minutes to see if he comes up this way. But it's just a game tonight where Georgetown just had a little bit more of talent than the Grenadiers. Not taking anything away from IU Southeast talent they have on the level. They just had a little bit more of it. And Georgetown, in typical fashion, just wear you down. They'll just run. Sometimes it looks like control. I think Happy Osborne at one time, and I heard Chris Briggs say this, but Happy Osborne called it controlled chaos. And that could be the situation there, as much as
It feels like they dominated in the fast break points.
They did. And Georgetown wins it tonight over the Grenadiers of IU Southeast. And I don't know if I think Jason's got it online that will be on the air Thursday night. I won't be here. I have a previous engagement.
I'll be holding it down.
You'll be holding it down, LC. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm
a lot of excitement for this Georgetown team. There's so much potential, and I think they can go really far.
I agree. And we'll see what will happen here. Jason, I think, is going down to chase down Chris Briggs, and we'll see if we can get him up here real quickly for a few minutes.
And they did this all without Tay Dozier, who was a starter in the first 2 games, the 6'5", high flyer. So excited to see him back after injury.
Well, I think he is out due to injury or illness, but just not in uniform tonight. And when you got that much depth, it makes it a little bit easier on Chris Briggs to do some things. And he's got some depth tonight, this year. A lot of players that have similar skill sets.
And really, nobody ran away with the scoring for the Tigers. It was an all-around scoring affair.
Yeah, Georgetown led in scoring by Seth Johnson and Jabari.
Jabari and Spikes.
Yeah, with 13 each. 12 for Kyron Jones. 10 for Drew Lamont. 11 for Rashad Bishop. 8 for Jaquay Wells. 5 for Cam Brooks Harris. 4 for Tommy Thomas. And 3 for Chad Omer.
And how about those? Does that say 11 rebounds from Seth Johnson?
Yeah.
Man, that's incredible. For him to rebound at that size, that really is incredible.
14 for Kyron Jones, and I'm going to get on Kyron. He had 10 at halftime. He slacked off in the second half. Actually, I think we can give him a little break because I think the Tigers all-conference player, we can give him a pass on that because a lot of those went to Seth Johnson in the second half, I think. So Tigers win it tonight over IU Southeast 79-55. We're awaiting Chris Briggs here, and I hope Coach decides to come up pretty quickly.
And a huge victory, really. A well-coached team like we talked about. And
Tigers only led it at halftime, 31-23. They outscored the Grenadiers in the second half, 48-32. So that tells you how that deficit came about. Awaiting Chris Briggs to see if we can get him up here quickly so we can talk to him a little bit about tonight's contest with the Grenadiers of IU Southeast.
His 12th season coaching for the Tigers.
Yep. And again, folks, I'm telling you, these shoes are hard to fill here at Georgetown because you have really high expectations. I mean, everybody thinks just down the road in Lexington the expectations are high at Georgetown or at UK. They are high here at Georgetown because of the same skills and the same wins that this program has put up over the years under Bob Davis and Jim Reed and Happy Osborne and now Chris Briggs. So when you have that type of expectations, they're always tough to meet.
Mm-hmm. And this is a sight to see. I really love to see this. Cam Brooks Harris, obviously not a great shooting night, only 5 points. Already getting the basketball immediately after the game, looking to put some shots up. And that's how you become a better player.
I agree, but you also don't want it to get into your head to where it becomes a bigger slump than just one game. That can do that sometimes. When you get hard on yourself and you come back out the next game, you might want to, I don't know, I always had a coach tell me, go home, sleep on it, come back the next day. I mean, whatever works for you.
If you think about the truly great players in this game, I think they would do the same. Mm-hmm. After a tough night of scoring is get back out there and just put up shots. I mean, it's the only way to get better is consistency and practice.
Right. Well, I'm talking about from the mental side of it, makes it tougher when that happens, because when you start thinking yourself, you get yourself in a whole lot more trouble. Because basketball, believe it or not, yes, it is a tremendously it's a game where you've got physical tools, you can do so much with it, whatever, but it is also a mental game. And if that mental game starts wearing on your physical game where you start thinking about stuff, you get yourself in trouble. And that's why you see the great players that don't go in slumps, so they don't let it bother them. They go home, sleep on it, come back out the next day and pick up again. But we'll see.
And here he comes, the man of the hour.
We're going to get Chris Briggs up here real quick, do a final few minutes here with him.
And do me a favor, just talk to me, just ask him a question about that Rashad Bishop dunk.
I will. You're grunting and carrying on like you're old, Coach.
Getting up there.
Well, Coach, first and foremost, I'm glad to be back over here with you, sitting on here on the sideline with you, brother. Haven't seen you in a few years, but
glad to have you.
We're back here, and we're going to have some fun this year.
Sir.
And big win tonight over IU Southeast, but I told everybody in the pregame, this team, over their history with this series with Georgetown, drives you nuts.
Yeah,
for some reason, I don't know why.
Well, they're a good team and well coached. Wiley Brown does a heck of a job with them. They're scrappy. Obviously with his size and and him being a big old fellow over there and lighting into him real good. They're going to play hard for him. And
he gave some looks tonight that were classic.
oh, yeah. Yeah, we got some stories over our 15, 16 years here. We sit down there before every game, every time we play here, and sit down there and laugh about stuff that's happened in the past. But he does a great job with them. They keep you off balance with their little matchup zone and trying to press. And, their press was more to slow us down instead of to speed us up. They just want to slow us down and to keep us off balance with that little matchup zone. And we a little tentative in the first half, but got it together the second half.
Well, most teams want to slow you down because most teams will not run with you. I mean, if they do, they're looking at you hanging 100 or more on them.
Right.
But the thing is, Coach, tonight you had so many different guys do different things. You have so many interchangeable parts.
Right.
And really the guy that got you going early was Seth Johnson.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, how many rebounds he ended up
He had
with? 12.
12. Yeah, I think 12.
11 rebounds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was all over the glass. And, his first couple jumpers were a little flat, but he just plays hard and has a nose for the ball and was really a energy spark for us there in the first half.
Well, and then you got Kyron Jones. I'm going to get on Kyron a little bit. He had 10 rebounds at halftime. He winds up with 14. He took the second half off, I think, on the glass. That's what I'm going to tell him. You know me. I don't pull any favors with these kids. I mean, I see tonight I had Troy Stewart here and Chris Coffey. He looked at me, kind of waved me off because he knew if he came up this way, I was going to tease him for a while.
Right. And Quan Poindexter.
Yeah, that's Quan. I could not tell who that was. He's trimmed down a little bit.
I was going to throw Quan in there and let him freight train somebody like he used to.
Well, he's trimmed down a little bit, though.
He looks great.
That's why I didn't recognize him.
Those guys came and played an alumni game, and, man, they were all in good shape. And we had Gus Chase and some of those guys. So, yeah, a lot of those guys, it's great to have them back and coming back and supporting these guys and building relationships with our current players.
I'd be remiss if we didn't ask about the dunk by Rashad Bishop. Oh, my goodness. He missed one earlier in the year in the first half, and I think he went too high.
Right.
This one, he didn't even touch the rim when he threw it down. He was about 1.5 feet away from the rim and threw it down.
Yeah, he can get up. He can really get up. We're just trying to get him with a consistent motor,
Well, I think it was there tonight.
Yeah, at times, but there's a lot of times I tell him to run to the rim and transition, and sometimes he'll jog to the elbow and run to the rim's a little bit different. But But he, we just got to get him dialed in and locked in. He had a couple of shots. He got up high, and I thought he was going to get one, but he didn't. But there was a couple he didn't even jump for, blocking shots down there, and I guess we just expected.
Well, he's a true freshman.
We expect it all.
Yeah, he's a true. Well, that's expectations at a program here.
Hell, he's been here 3 years.
Well, here's the thing. You got tonight, though. You got a lot of guys some playing time.
Right.
And that's what this team is, or this program is built on.
No doubt.
You wear people out by playing high speed, but you go 10, 11, 12 deep sometimes.
Right. No doubt. And that's that was one of the things we wanted to do with Jaquay kind of hobbling a little bit, and Tay Dozier sat tonight. Probably could have played if we had to have him, but decided to let him try to heal up from his ankle the other day and just trying to get through a couple of these early injuries with, obviously with conference next week. We're going to need those guys healthy next week. So, I wanted to get Tommy Thomas some minutes, wanted to get Jay Breon and Spike some more minutes. They didn't get exactly what they needed out in Kansas City and at Western, and just trying to get them adjusted and get them into the flow. And those are guys going to help us with the depth off the bench. And, that was one of the things with coming into this week with this game, and then Thursday night was to get those guys on the floor more and throw them to the fire a little bit, learning on the fly.
Well, you got Midway coming in here on Thursday night, 7 o'clock for the tip-off of that one. And then next week, a big week. You got Wilberforce on the road, a brand-new team to the Mid-South Conference.
Right.
And then you got Thomas More coming in on Saturday. I know as a coach, you're going to take it one game at a time, so that we're just giving the fans a little preview of what you got coming up.
Right, and they're doing a heck of a job. Coach Ray up there does a great job, and I think they're number 2 in the country and just beat Indiana Wesleyan at their place, and maybe they beat somebody else. Haven't had a chance to check them out, but I know they got Reed Jolly back and got some other good players. Obviously, they lost Bate, and that's a big loss for them, but still got a lot of talent over there, and it'd be a good one.
Well, this is the first of many tonight that we'll be sitting here in this chair. I used to be just sitting and watching him and Jason making faces at him. Now I get to be the guy that interview now.
Up here on the perch.
Up on the perch, but it's been good, Chris, and and glad to be back, and good luck the rest of the season.
Yes,
good luck on Thursday night.
Appreciate it. Great to have you back, and looking forward to it.
Thank you. Yep. Chris Briggs with us, and real quick, LC, give me a final comment on what you saw tonight.
Just a great effort, I think, from the Tigers, and
I agree.
I love the hustle and effort from Tommy Thomas, that glue guy. like Coach said, getting him some more minutes, and Jabrion some more minutes is going to be essential to the team and the depth.
Tigers win it 79-55 in the men's game tonight over IU Southeast. For LC, Yoakum on color tonight.
LC Newton.
Newton. No, Yoakum. Where am I getting Yoakum from? I don't have a clue. Bear with me, folks. I'm old.
It's all good.
LC Newton. But he answered to it a while ago when I said it.
Hey, very first basketball game. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and thank you, Darren, for taking me under your wing and guiding me along.
I'll get your name right before the year's over.
Sounds good to me.
For LC and for Christoph on producing tonight. Final score again from Georgetown's Davis Reed Alumni Gym was Georgetown 75, IU Southeast 55. Till next time, folks, so long.